This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Canned Cocktails is perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Well, we're back. Mountain West Media Days, day one, continuing our coverage. BJ Rains here, Bronco Nation News. We got Jordan Kaye here as well, and we are nice enough at Circle Resort and Casino to be joined by the commissioner of the Mountain West, Gloria Nevarez. First time at Media Days, as we were just talking about off air. Thanks for coming on, and how's it going?
Really good. As we were just discussing, this venue has been perfect and a lot of excitement and, great conversations.
We got to get you to slide a little closer to the mic if you don't mind, Commissioner.
Can do.
Doing the best we can here. But what's it been like? You're down here. You're answering all the San Diego State questions. You're, there's some other topics going on. But just to be down here around the league's media, and you're seeing the coaches and the athletic directors and just kind of have the unofficial kickoff to football season here. What's it like?
Yeah, no, it's exciting. I think we're really looking forward to next season. We're positioning and optimistic that we're looking at maybe a top 6 spot in the FBS out of the 10 FBS conferences. And, you can kind of feel the energy in the room. We had the student athletes in last night, and they were very impressive.
I think I've heard a lot of leaders talk about that when they start a new job, the first year, 6 months is all about listening.
Yes.
And you went on a big kind of tour of Mountain West schools, and you really said that was your goal, is to listen. What were you trying to find out, and what were you hearing?
Well, I'm halfway through our conference. I've been to about 7 campuses. I have 5 more to do, although I have talked to pretty much all of our athletic directors, presidents, and SWAs. But really just hearing about what they want from the conference, what they want us to represent, and what they want our brand to be.
What do you mean by the brand part?
One of the things I heard, especially on the interview and in my first 6 months, is, want to be recognized as a league and a conference, and the Mountain West to be recognized nationally, to be recognized for how good we are in our sports. And I think there's this, undertone of we don't get our fair recognition, or people, really don't understand what we're about. So really trying to amplify the stories in our league and get that brand that is recognizable and, nationally understood.
Yeah, you've done 7 of the 12 visits, I think you said, and you mentioned in your address that you're learning a lot of things about the Mountain West you didn't know about in your first 7 months or whatever is on the job. What are some of those things? I mean, what this league and some of the cities and then the fan bases and just the power of the Mountain West, I guess. What has caught your eye in your first 7-8 months on the job here?
For as individuals our schools are, what I'm looking for is what is that we have in common? What is that makes us whole? And what I really love about a lot of the schools in our league is we are often the biggest show in town. We have these broad, wide fan bases. Our student populations and our athlete populations represent a lot of first generation, first opportunity in college. And we're scrappy. And the other word that pops to mind is gritty. And when you talk to our student athletes that night, no matter what the topic, if they're talking about NIL, transfer portal, they're about doing their thing, getting their work done. I think one student athlete referenced that we're just dogs. We're just dogs. And I don't think he meant the mascot.
I think there's this human nature thing of a person comes in and you're not really sure what to make of it. Like if you're in class and you can't sit next to your friend and the substitute comes in, you're going to try and see if you can sit next to your friend. Yeah. And being a conference commissioner following, obviously, Craig Thompson, who's been there forever, I have to imagine there was some of that feeling. And, it seems at every turn you've stuck up for the conference and really stuck up for the rules and the values and the policies that were in place before you got there. How important was that to you, and how well do you think you've done of that so far?
Well, I certainly, all credit to Craig. And I would mention our deputy commissioner, Brett Gilliland, who's been with the league since day one. And what they've built is a very strong product. Operationally, we are well built. And so I really enjoy, I shouldn't make car analogies because I know nothing about cars, but it's like inheriting a Porsche, and I'm looking for different highways to take it out on. And so that's what's been really fun, because I think our presidents, our athletic directors, our coaches, they're very much aligned. We know what we are and we're proud of it. But I think my job is to amplify that and market it a little bit better.
We were going to let you maybe have it be the first interview where you didn't get asked about San Diego State, but we can't quite make that happen. All the people are wondering, all the fans and everybody. But I know you mentioned, in terms of the negotiations and contracts, obviously legal reasons you can't discuss some of that. But a lot of people are saying this is just San Diego State had nowhere to go. They're coming back now, but at some point here soon, they're still going to be leaving. I know you mentioned, 23, 24. What can you say, I guess, just about the long-term future of San Diego State? And was there any kind of assurances made, or is this kind of hey, we're keeping you for now, but they may still leave at some point?
Well, I think that stands true for any school in the league, right? I mean, the Mountain West were the original disruptors back in '99 when it was unheard of to form a new league, and now it's our everyday. And so philosophically, the way I'm looking at it is, athletic directors and presidents have to look out for their university. And I understand that. My job is to look out for the conference. 99% of the time, those two objectives align. When they don't, we have policies to not be overly preventative of letting school leaves, but at least to give us enough notice and enough financial cushion to either make good on our media contracts or backfill a new league. And that's what the policies are made for. They look like a lot of other policies in other leagues. And I think they're solid. Like I said, well built. So I think gone are the days when we think about it and take an offense, or personally, look what we did for TCU. Look what we did for Utah. When you come in at the bottom of the league, if you invest and take advantage of the platform, good on you. Same for our presidents, same for our athletic directors and coaches. We have a lot of first-time folks in the chair that go on to bigger and better things. And I think that's okay, as long as those of us who are in the Mountain West take care of the Mountain West, protect it, and ensure our place in the ecosystem, which is top 6 of the 10 FBS conferences.
Obviously, the letters and things came out. I'm sure you guys would have preferred they didn't, but public records requests, whatever. But you got a lot of praise. A lot of folks at the time were saying, okay, you're taking a hard line. You guys are doing this. And you never really spoke on it. We just kind of read your thoughts through the letters, of how all this was going on. And you got a lot of praise. But then, some people, like in the last 24 hours, your detractors would say you guys backtracked a little bit on those statements based on what has now happened. And I guess, again, I know you can't get specific, but I guess just how, whether it be your position changing or whatever, how do you look at when this started a month ago, I guess, to where it ended up now?
And again, I've started from the beginning, I think we're a better league with San Diego State in it. If any of our schools were in that position right now, I'd say the same thing. So in the same manner that our policies are designed to protect us if and when school leagues, I think it's okay for them to come back as well. I mean, it happened a while ago with San Diego State and Boise State at one point. And there should be a way back in.
Sorry, we were interrupted there for a second. What just, in general, I guess we talk about San Diego State and what's happened with them, but what's now, unfortunately the questions aren't going to go away. At least for the short term, you can move on to some other things on your list, I guess. What else is pressing, I guess, for you and for the Mountain West here in terms of what's next on the agenda?
Well, we talked about finishing up our strategic plan, and that was first order of business, really building that framework. Hand in hand with that, we took all that data and research, and we're also starting a brand analysis, and we have a firm called Global Prairie helping us with that. So those are 2 big projects. And like I said, getting around and finishing our campus visits, and then really taking a deep breath and getting to some of those blue sky projects that don't have to do with kind of building blocks and foundational things.
I don't think a lot of people think of a collegiate conference as a brand per se and how to market that brand. But what are you guys, I don't know, what specific things are you trying to do? Is that just like more TV commercials, more like social media ads? And then like, what is the goal? Like, are more people watching Mountain West games? Are they, hopefully applying to Mountain West schools if there's like a, new TikToks or stuff? Or like, what's the goal?
I think, our major goal, our fundamental goal, in addition to developing student athletes and great student athlete experience, is getting the most teams into postseason at the best possible position. So when our media friends and our selection committees are thinking about a Mountain West team, I want them to feel, oh, that's a tough league. Oh, they must have had a tough road to get here. Wow, that, even in a down year, sometimes your brand cachet in the league you're associated with can carry you to a different level because you get the benefit of the doubt of being in this stronger family. So getting that recognition of which schools are in our league, how good we are, how tough it is to help elevate what schools are trying to do individually.
I did want to ask you a couple quick Boise State questions before we get you out of here. We covered Boise State, obviously. You made the campus visit up there. Just in general, I know they've had a unique relationship with the league over the years. They have the different membership agreement, things like that. Jeremiah Dickey, Marlene Tromp. I mean, what is your? I know they're both on some committees, I believe, in things. So, what is your, relationship in your first 8 months here with those two?
They have been amazing. Jeremiah Dickey has been a co-chair for our strategic planning effort, and I think he's on his way here today, and been very, very supportive. President Tromp is one of the strongest voices in our room. She is a leader both nationally at the university, but also in athletics, especially what Boise State represents to us. And, you got to think if you're Boise State during this whole question about San Diego State, at some point you're thinking when it's our turn, how is this going to apply to us? And what I appreciate about President Trump and Director Dickey is they understood that, but they were able to take their individual hats off for the moment and think about what's best for the league. And if it's their turn someday too, they want to be treated fairly and consistently under our policies.
We were discussing if we were going to ask you this before we started. We said no, but I'm going to ask anyway because I don't think anyone's ever asked you about the incident with Boise State and the New Mexico baseball team. You guys put out the statement. We saw there was differing sides, and there was a thing done, and it basically came back, and everyone was trying to say that your friend Leon Rice, may have made some of it up, or who knows what actually happened. I don't know what you can say about that whole thing, but that was obviously a unique situation. And then New Mexico had to come to Boise to play them a couple weeks later, and there was a little bit of tension, I guess, in the stands. What do you make of all that?
Well, again, I wouldn't want to comment publicly on something that's between the schools and sensitive league business, but I will say, take very seriously sportsmanship conducts, violations of our sportsmanship policies. Our bylaws, protocols would be to try to handle it school to school first, and then the conference get involved. In this case, I give all the credit to both athletic directors. They spoke several times. They handled it. I was involved, certainly, but I felt it was resolved appropriately and accountability was had.
You mentioned that one day this, where San Diego State is could be where Boise State is, and perhaps elevating it in the conference. What do you think, it'll take for Boise State to do that? And, is that something that, you're anticipating in the future, not whether it's, 1 or 2 years, but 10, 20 years?
Like we said before, it used to be that conference movement was unheard of, and now it's every day, and folks are asking me, what do you think about next year, and what about the membership? It literally feels week to week, day by day. And so I think if COVID taught us anything, we can change, we can pivot. And so I think when I think about our own membership, it has to do with where we are at the time, what our media contracts are, and that's the same at other leagues around us who might be looking to invite our schools out. And so it really is keeping it ear to the ground, keep, open communication the entire time. If ever I hear a rumor, I will call up the president or the AD and say, hey, is there any truth to this? Again, I'm not trying to keep a school president AD from doing what's best for their school. Just let's communicate so I'm not caught flat-footed, and we can help plan to continue on, backfill, do whatever it is we can do to keep the Mountain West at the level we're at.
I want to ask you one bowl-related question. Down here in Las Vegas, Boise State had a lot of history with the Las Vegas Bowl. They obviously switched over to the Pac-12, and then now you guys have the new game at SoFi Stadium in LA. But and that's a great first game. But I think a lot of people don't really love the options 2, 3, 4, and 5. Below them. Is there anything that can be? I know there's only contracts and all this, but in terms of you're in a scenario a lot of years where the Mountain West champion, that championship game, you win or lose, depends on a big swing in your bowl possibility. I know you mentioned hoping it's the CFP, playoffs starting next year or New Year's Six. But for that second team, the team that doesn't make it there, is there anything being done, or are you guys looking to try to get just one more solid second or third bowl game option in there?
We are always looking at, again, same with membership, we're always looking at our bowl partnership and alignment. And, I think a lot of folks are waiting to see how the expanded CFP ripple effects through the bowl environment. There's one school of thought that it might not change that much because the entire inventory of bowl eligible teams out there isn't contracting or expanding to any great degree. But we are all having those conversations and trying to prepare what's next for the future. I don't have any answers yet, but definitely on the radar.
Well, final thing for me, I guess, just we mentioned getting ready to kick off the season here, and Boise State's the preseason favorite in the league. What would it mean for the league, I guess, to have Boise State or any team in this league get back to that, this year, the New Year's Six, and then next year, obviously, the playoff. But, you mentioned Boise State did it in 14, but, it's the Mountain West hasn't really had a whole lot of success there since then. What would it do, I guess, whether it's this year or here in this playoff moving forward to get back to having a team in the national conversation?
When we talk about building brand, that certainly would help, as did the run to the Final Four with San Diego State. You cannot replicate that kind of platform and awareness and brand value. When San Diego State goes to the Final Four, all credit to them and team. It was a great opportunity to talk about how tough league play was and how it prepared them and the other teams in the league that were in at the same time. And what I love about postseason is when we start to rally around each other. We are on the battlefield all the way up and through the conference play, and then we can root for each other. So again, that platform, that exposure, that really is what we're all working to attain, right?
Well, we appreciate your time. Like I said, this is my 11th Mountain West Media Days, and now Circa is one of our sponsors, so I am a little biased. But the setup here and the location of everything is the best I've seen in the 11 years here. And I know you said it's a lot of other people behind the scenes doing the work, but
absolutely,
it's awesome here. The best popcorn I think I've ever had too in the snack room. So. And by this way, the socks, was this your idea?
Snacks
the media,
and socks.
The free sock.
I would love to take full credit for all of this, but I have to throw roses on Javen Headland. This is his creation.
25th anniversary on the socks and the pullover you guys passed out as well. So thank you.
Vodka shots and Bruce Springsteen albums on the way out. Just to really get.
I did not say that. That is
we appreciate your time for jumping on, and thanks, John, and everybody at the Mountain West. And it's been a fun time. It's going to be another fun 24 hours here.
Thank you so much for coming. Appreciate it.
Gloria Nevarez, Mountain West Commissioner. More to come here. Bronco Nation News Live, sponsored by Taco Bell and all of our other great sponsors here in Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino.